I'd like to call this Town of Cedar Lake Planning Commission February 2nd, 2022 special work session, 6 p.m. to order. Let's see, we'll do the pledge now, and then we'll roll right in at 7 to the special public meeting. No Bob Carnahan yet?
I think he's just doing it actually.
Okay, yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yeah, he just unmuted.
Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Mr. Sharp?
Here.
Ms. Farrer is currently absent. Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Kapora?
Present.
Mr. Wilkening?
Here.
Mr. Oliphant?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Pilatus?
Here.
Ms. Murr is absent. Ms. Abernathy present.
Okay, thank you very much. What I'd like to do is jump right into the this corrected draft of the ordinance. I do have a letter from here from Mr. Eberly to all of us. Does anybody have this letter from Rick? The date on this is January 6th.
I do have that one.
Okay. It mentions I changed the maximum building height in R2 back to 30 from the proposed 35, which was something we had remonstrance about and a lot of discussion. Intent didn't move the street pavement width. I don't think there's anything else here that, some definitions. Anybody have any questions on anything on this form here?
No question. No, sir.
No. All right. Okay, let's get right to this then. We have the index. I think it's the right copy. Good one. Okay, because I've talked to a few of you off and on about some of these things, I think we understand that a fair amount of this information is clerical. Language, punctuation, Chapter 1, page 1. Anybody have anything on any of those pages? Page 4, 3, 4. No, Mr. Austin has notes in here.
Right.
Page 5, page 6. I know there was some discussion we'll get to in industrial a little later. See bulk requirements. Range from 12-inch below the foundation. Don, do you have see anything here that is going to create any boomerangs or conflicts?
In residential specifically?
Well, I'm on page 12. Sure, residential specifically.
No, I think everything was pretty much agreed upon, versus going back to the 30-foot height.
Yeah.
We have maybe an issue with that in industrial. But.
The industrial was going to be 30 or 35, Dave. What is I don't remember, was it, we were going to move industrial from 45 back to 30?
Yes.
How is that going to affect the project that's on the books right now?
Shilling?
The Schilling building?
That's a problem.
Because it's above,
How it came out.
it's above 30 feet.
33, 34 feet.
Yeah, it's under 35. It's under 35.
And the
But
current ordinance provides 30 or 35? The current
industrial provides more than that, 40.
Current's
Then
40.
they're fine.
40.
they're fine.
Because they did it under the.
That's
Prior.
right. That is still the law, not this.
Okay,
But they haven't final platted yet.
Doesn't matter, they've applied.
Okay.
they're under the radar.
Yeah, I mean, because they're essentially extending the building, so they can't really go.
No, there's no
Yeah.
ex post facto application of laws, so
Okay.
they're legal under the law they applied for.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
Page 7, Jerry?
Page 7.
I'm going
Yes,
backwards,
Mr.
I'm
Sheriff.
sorry, I'm sorry. Section C, height, is 35 okay now?
Page 7, section C.
Number 1? Yeah, number 1.
Yeah, the bulk requirement,
Well, that's under ag.
Okay.
that's, okay.
So that's why that's 35's okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm betting he intentionally left it,
Okay.
but something for discussion.
I had no changes on the documents I was given to compile this draft.
Okay.
Because ag for demonstrators was specifically geared towards residential.
Just
Yes,
residential,
yes.
is my understanding. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Somebody builds a barn in this town, it's gonna be higher, they're gonna need a variance, no matter what.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, back to page 15. Anybody have anything in the middle of, bulk requirements? That's the 45. Is that page 17? Permitted uses, RM zoning. Is everybody good with 45 and RM zoning? I'm thinking not. Page 17.
Well, that gives you 40.
Is that what that's what we previously had, correct?
That's what's there, I think.
Yeah, that's four-story building, John.
Yeah.
The condominiums on the east side of the lake, are those 4
Right.
stories or 3?
3 in a
They're
roof.
3 stories.
3 in a roof. I don't know if you can get
I don't
4
know how
stories
high
out of this.
Garage underneath,
Huh?
You'd have to have a
garage
flat roof.
underneath on any of them?
The
Well,
garages are separate.
I'm just trying to give everybody a reference.
Yeah.
Do we ever want an RM building to be built without some review or oversight by us?
I don't like 45.
Yeah, I don't either,
I think 3 stories are 35.
So you like 35?
Well, I'm saying 30 or 35. If you're going 3 stories, it's gonna be a little over 30 foot. It's gonna
Yeah, so 35 probably works.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna hit 4 stories at 45 though,
Yeah.
unless you have a flat roof.
Yeah.
Well, and that would never happen.
It's been known to happen.
All right, well, I guess what we need to do is, we need to advise, a correction here. We're gonna change this 45 to what?
35?
35?
Is that gonna give enough pitch for the roof? Enough for 3 or not? With a roof? I mean,
It'd be tough.
with
You might want to do 40 if you want 3 stories.
a...
Yeah, but if we get a flat roof, now we could end up with 4 stories.
Be tight
Yeah.
Maybe-
with beams in the
For
ceiling.
the amount, for the occasions that it's gonna be an issue, they just have to come in here. I mean, I don't know, I mean, we have a little more.
I would agree, because then they could do 8-foot ceilings, put in between and fall within that, so I agree with you, Jerry.
Yeah, I think have a little oversight on some of these things, isn't a bad way to go. So, page 17, RM height is going to change from 45 to what?
35?
35. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Sharp. Page 18, 19. have anything? This had to be some real exciting reading, Mr. Ross.
It sucked, truthfully.
Okay, page 27, that is our height of 30 feet, and that's for the B.
What page are you on?
Page 20,
27, is that right, Kevin?
20, hang on, I lost it now. 27. That's B1, that's 30 feet, we're good with that. Rear yard 30 feet down below. Lot coverage,
Isn't it interesting to you all how the focus of your attention has changed in a year? The only thing you're asking about tonight is height.
Right.
A year ago, we were talking about density, talking about
Well-
legacy, we were talking about size of lots, we were talking about building permits.
yeah, well,
Kind of interesting.
yeah, well, the protocol is important for sure, and
I'm saying it's
We-
bad, I'm
we
just
don't-
saying it's interesting.
Yeah.
How shift and
Yeah, I don't
focus.
think it's bad at all. Yeah.
no, I think this was just one of those things that was at the top of the list.
Yeah,
All those other things are, the 25% rear yard and the 30 feet, I mean, all that stuff needed to be dialed in. And the longer you're here, the more your focus changes.
Well, it's a result of your collective consciousness about this, too. You see the permits come in and the developments and all that.
Page 32, B2, we got 30 feet there also. Okay, and let's see, page 38 has some numbers on it. Top number 2, that is
There's some.
RS zoning. Let's see, page 36 is 6 foot along the side yard, the rear lot line, contiguous property zone, residential use. 37, top of 38. This is RS zoning. Let's see, every lot use original purpose shall have a minimum width at the building line of 80 feet and a minimum area of 8,000.
or 10,000.
Okay, that was, is it 10, it's 10,000, right?
That's what I got in mind.
I don't know.
Well, we got 8 red and 10
That's why I
with
marked
numbers.
Okay, right.
10,000 is what it should be.
Well, there's a question here, 8 or 10. I'm looking at the red line.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the right. So
I didn't know.
It's gonna be
I read
10.
it.
It's gonna be 10.
I think so, but I wasn't assuming anything.
So I understand.
Okay, and well, you have the correct version. And it says 10.
Okay.
Area of 8,000. 8,000, okay, well, this should say 10,000 to match the number.
Yeah.
We have the word and the digits.
So the building line is 80 feet, minimum area is 10,000.
Yes. So the 8 needs to be changed to 10. TEN. The rear yard 30 feet. That's been working rather well. Page 40. CDA. I guess there's not enough paper to cover all those variables. Okay, 42, we get into that section. CDB, no more conditional, 6 feet. Permitted use, 300 feet. Quarries and borrow pits, 1,000 feet of any subdivision. Page 45. Anything there concern anybody? 264. Oh, garages, yeah. This is for legacy lots. It says the height of the garage is 15 feet. Did we have that different than a regular garage for 14 feet? Or was that accessory building? Garages were 14, right?
Accessory buildings were 14 before, I remember.
Okay. Is
I don't know
it a
what
detached
garage.
garage 14? It says here 15. I don't have a problem with it.
Is the garage considered accessory building compared to
Well,
like a
not
shed
if
or
it's your
something?
not if it's your first garage. If it's a detached garage and it's your only one.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm good with 15.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commercial legacy lots, 5,050, we went through those, quite a bit of detail.
Do you really want to legislate commercial legacy lots? Do you want to require legacy lots, so to speak, commercial legacy?
Houses.
To be, we're talking about lots that are size of postage stamps.
Right.
For commercial purpose.
Yeah, these setbacks here, I'm not feeling real great about.
You can see I made a note for you guys to review
So-
or get some comment on it.
So, you were gonna ask us a question. Do we want to?
I thought we removed legacy lots, guys, for the commercial side of things.
John, I think you're right, that's what I thought, but the draft I got.
Yeah, I thought we whacked that whole section.
Okay, so a
For commercial.
legacy lot would have to come in for
What everybody else.
total review.
I don't even.
Yes, I believe that's what we agreed to at
Okay,
one of the prior meetings.
I got 46.
No, I don't even have
You
it.
have-
So
okay.
it's all for yours, right, John?
He doesn't have it on his, he said.
No, I don't have it.
Doesn't have, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, I take it back, here it is, commercial
This
legacy
was a
lots.
separate attachment to it when we discussed it. It was like a 2-page attachment that we discussed.
Okay.
Oh, it
So
is
section
there.
C, commercial legacy lot is struck. And along with it would be section 2. Okay, 47, M1 lighting. The lighting is our blanket, horizontal lenses, everything, right, Don?
Yeah, the reference back to the,
Yeah.
lighting ordinance.
Bulk requirements, side yard. Page 49, page 50. Anybody have any concerns on any of these? Nope. So we got section E, toxic matter is gone, or just the words? Looks like just the words.
So, can we go back to, wetlands and water course a second? And
Can you call out a page?
Yeah, I will, let me find it.
Page 47, maybe?
M1, was it M1? Or where was the,
I don't know if we've hit it yet.
Yeah, maybe we haven't, it provides a permitted use in M1 is wetlands and water course. I'll find it, I'm sorry.
Okay. So, smoke and particulate matter, let's see, page 52. Fire and explosive hazards, glare and heat. PUD, chapter 8. These are the findings, the criteria for off-street parking, private streets. That's for PUD. Contract required with PUD. Developmental standards, front yard, modification book requirements, chapter 9.
Jerry, you're rolling pretty good. You had a highlight on planned unit development. Are all of you comfortable with the development agreement component and the elements that are required to be provided?
You mean the contract required?
Yes.
I think what we've been doing is, has been working okay.
Well,
Where's
on the
the snag?
decision-making side, it might be. It isn't on the administrative side and getting the documents together.
Okay.
I don't have issues.
You don't like the 10 days?
I don't have any smoothness or confidence of smoothness in how our documentation comes together. So I'm looking for your thoughts about process and preparation as much as I am everything else in this zoning district.
I guess if there's some particular things that...
Yes, you like ministries, I can give you a couple of examples of...
What is it? You're talking about administrative protocol?
Yeah, and the content, which is part of what the problem seems to be.
Well, I thought our content was fairly thorough.
I'm not suggesting it isn't. What I am suggesting is getting it from content and articulated into legal form and documentation. You have an ordinance, it's a zoning, and that's a 600 series ordinance, zone change. And you have a PUD with 13, 1400, 1500 series, you've got to deal with that. And you have a legal agreement, the contract, which is the commitment of the developer, property owner, to do what they say they're going to do, and you to be able to enforce it. Consideration for the zoning, if you will.
So what is the... I guess because we don't... These protocols don't affect us directly.
They don't. You don't have the banker's boxes in your office that yield the report of this, the reports and the data and the site plans and the plat.
So
I'm just asking.
if there's
This is a high point.
if there's some protocol or procedural things that need to be polished up. I mean,
I have a similar, maybe a similar concern. I mean, there's just a vagueness to requirements, specifically of development plan. Recent PUDs have had varying levels of engineering prior to getting a zone change. And I think it's starting to skew towards less and less since it's becoming a concept plan to get, a PUD zone change.
well,
Which may be what you're looking for, but I mean, in the past, we've required full-on engineering, and now that's kind of morphed to very basic site plans, and they can come come in later.
Grand drawings.
Yeah. So, I mean, is that something, I mean, because it says preliminary engineering plans, which is, you know, can be interpreted one of several ways.
Where are you, okay,
Section C, development plan.
this is section C.
But I mean, this is part of, you know, the development agreement and the PUD ordinance in some form or fashion. It's just, it's a level of detail that's not called out very well.
Okay, do you have a suggestion of detail that,
I don't know.
would bring this back into,
You essentially have 2 PUDs coming here before you in the next month. One is on your agenda for, you know, your public meeting, well,
Okay.
your work session. And we really don't have anything minus of, you know, a crayon drawing that was submitted here in December. And now they've submitted the PUD ordinance and the development agreement, and that's it. And I think the way, at least section C is written, it's not very clear on what they need to present. Because, I mean, one's a site plan, it says, and there's traffic circulation, landscape plans, preliminary engineering, preliminary drawings.
so that, you're telling me that all these items are not being followed?
No, I'm saying that they're being interpreted. Essentially, it's saying that they need a concept plan and then, you know, the ordinance and development agreement go with it. It's very limited engineering.
Do you two have an idea of what it should say to get this train back on track? Because it does become fast and loose.
Similar to Don, I'm actually here in lockstep with you. It's perhaps more the interpretation / application. I mean, I think we all have a pretty good idea what a site plan is. I think we all have a pretty good idea what preliminary engineering is, not engineering, preliminary engineering. I think we all have a pretty good idea about when somebody's presenting a developer, an experienced, sophisticated developer bringing you a PUD that's going to have a sophisticated project and community built on it, of what they're doing. And I think it comes out of the box with our standards in Cedar Lake are what they are.
I think Oak Brook is a pretty good happy medium. So, I mean, when Rose Garden came through, and then when Birchwood came through, Birchwood was effectively told to provide full-on engineering for their being the PUD zoning.
And they
Rose
did it.
Garden was,
And they
did it.
And they did it.
But Rose Garden was much simpler, more preliminary, you know, 10-page plan set. Ultimate one was 75 pages, similar to Oak Brook that was, you know, in that realm where, you know, several plans. It wasn't just like a concept architectural level plan, which is right now is what Silver Meadows is effectively is.
Well, there's also one other factor. When folks come and stand at that podium and ask you for their relief, it's always on their timetable. It's never on our timetable. They either don't get in here sufficiently in advance to meet their timetable, or they make their timetable our timetable, and we're stuck with we gotta get going, we gotta keep moving, we gotta get it done.
If there's...
And they're avoiding public hearing process in doing that. By the way, Schillings have been told, as Jack Hulls, that won't fly anymore. But I'm saying those factors play a huge role.
Well, and since we have some other things coming down the pipe of significant magnitude, if you have, or you have, either one of you have, ways to sharpen these up, I'm on board.
I am too, Jim, absolutely, just
Yeah.
tell them, yeah.
Yeah.
I do, and I don't think for purposes of this replacement zoning ordinance, we change this. I think we have a training workshop, and we talk about and put the parameters around the documentation.
And that's the amendment to this?
It could be an amendment, or it could be just a guide that the staff and planning team here uses, and Don's in on the beginning on nearly everything that's development-wise, that you all collectively use in providing information to a developer standing here and wanting to get going, PUD, agreement-wise, zoning-wise.
There's some beauty in ambiguity, in a way, if you want to call it that way.
I like it.
Yeah, I understand, but we do have, like...
But you just have to interpret it the same and
Every time.
every time. Thanks.
Every time.
So you, one of you, both of you, would you like to create some definitions for these for these items here? I mean, you don't have to sell us on the idea, I think we're all on board.
Different language.
Again, I'm
And
not,
if you wanna
I'm
leave
not,
this for now and give something for the staff to work on,
well, I think you're part of that though, Rick. I mean, the workshop kind of
well,
discussion.
that's fine, no, that's
I
fine,
I
yeah.
contemplate is, let's have all heads and, on our hands on deck here, and let's talk through this. But we've had a lot of changes here in the last 3, 4, 5 years, and we need to pull the reins back in.
Well, there's little particular pieces that I'm quite certain Don wants to see. You know, I's dotted and T's crossed.
Well,
And I don't know exactly what those are.
I don't think a zoning ordinance, this is my opinion, needs to be, you know, tell you exactly what you need to submit. Like I said, I think there's a good thing to leave it general, but it has to be interpreted the same way between every PUD.
So what's your
submittal.
suggestion for this? 'Cause this is not here. This is over there.
Yeah,
But they're part of
Okay,
your
like they
team.
said here.
Right.
too, yeah.
No, I understand, but when it gets here,
yeah.
it's us.
Yes,
Like, I don't wanna make it so strict where we're saying, you know, you need a site plan and your geometric plan, lighting and all that. I don't want it to be that strict, because every PUD is different.
mhm.
I don't know, it's just, it's popped up more in my mind because of recent PUDs and how different the submittals have been. They've still gotten approvals, but there's no rhyme or
So
reason.
why wouldn't they be required to submit the usual, which is on this paper?
Well, they should be.
And
It should, it's just,
That's the difficulty we have, sitting
Yeah.
here seeing what's being presented.
you know when you see it.
Yeah.
What are those things?
well, I understand, but you said
It's hard to summarize.
the site plan and the landscape and the lighting maybe not being that important. But both those things are important, but not for preliminary.
And not for, I don't think for PUD, I mean, you know they're going to, and there's always a section in the developer agreement that says for lighting specifically, they will follow the lighting ordinance. And we can get into
Well-
you know, the bulk of it later. There has to be enough detail in there for remonstrators to effectively say, you know, a yea or nay to this, or at least evaluate it. But a chicken scratch, you know, one-page architectural drawing is not that it. It's not-
Okay. Again, none of us disagree with you. What's your suggestion on how we do it? How we make it better?
I mean, I don't know if I'm saying to change it a whole lot.
I'm not suggesting you change it at all.
Yeah, I'm just saying it needs to be interpreted and enforced differently, potentially.
By us?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe if you could give us some guidelines that we could have up here, so when this arises, we can glance down and look at it and say, okay, you're not following this to what, you know, our interpretation is, you know, you have to follow the timeline. You don't follow the timeline, we come back next month.
Little cheat sheet for us to go by.
Yeah.
I think even.
But that should be done, that should be done on the other side of that wall,
And maybe, yeah, that's.
before it gets here. If
Well,
it's not right, then we
It's part of
can,
the application
But
process.
if we had it
No.
too,
yeah,
we could shoot down, hey, wait a minute.
yeah, I got you.
Perhaps the best way to show you what we're talking about, is to give you some examples. I've done 3 PUDs in another town inside the last 7 months, and none of them had the difficulties that our PUDs have had. I mean, talk in terms of data retrieval, compilation, organizing the plan, much less the ordinance. And I think these examples might, for you and staff, I mean, might show you
Well,
what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's get them in here.
We're not trying to, I don't think we're trying to slow process, that we're trying to make them more understandable
No, I got you.
and
That's
usable.
fine, yeah.
It's quite frustrating to get a wonderful print, wonderful drawing, and then get another one that's
Quite so wonderful.
in 3 highlighted colors.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's better guidance to staff when we get these in at first crack, I don't know, to let them know what exactly we're looking for. Because, you know, seeing preliminary drawings and preliminary engineering, that can be interpreted 10 different ways.
Well, and I think most of
Use
us,
just like they are preliminary, they're
Well,
kind of,
most-
you know,
But I would beg to differ that preliminary is not a concept. Preliminary has some essence of thought behind it.
Yeah, that's
You
step,
know,
that's step
it could be-
two.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, concept, yeah.
I mean, considering what may be happening
Yeah, it's
south end of
Silver
town
Mountain.
in the near future,
We have a concept, everybody, you know, looked at the concept and said it was good, and now
Where's-
we have a PUD agreement and a development agreement, but absolutely nothing else engineering wise to go with it, and now they're on the agenda.
Yeah, see, that doesn't work.
Who's this, Silverleaf?
Silver Meadows, it's the, Diamond Peak.
Oh, down on Parish, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, no bueno.
No, so, I mean,
Is there a public hearing advertised for that? To your knowledge?
I don't know. It's on the work session, so
I
I'm anticipating it will be
I saw
on.
some color pictures, and I think I commented, the pictures were pretty, but no substance.
Yeah.
And
I don't
that
think I
outfit
even
knows how to
seen it.
do it.
Yeah,
On top of it, they know how to,
What work session?
It's December, I think.
yeah.
The first December work session, but I think they just made the packet. I don't even actually remember it being sent to us to even look at. But, like I said, the concept is
They all start
concept.
to run together after a while.
They do.
There was, I did read an email from
I was horizontal with pneumonia.
Yeah.
Diamond Peak, and there was the PUD document, because it mentioned the dedication of the park to the town and the maintenance of the park by the HOA. So that's what we discussed
That's
here.
when Diamond Peak guy and Mike Herber is the
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
That's what she said, I don't think
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't much to it other than the language and the basic layout.
I mean, they may just be coming in for discussion purposes if they haven't advertised, but
Okay,
I don't know.
all right, well, we,
Jerry, this item, Commissioners, this item can continue to be reviewed. We're going into the subdivision ordinance. I'm gonna meet with him. I've compiled already some subdivision control ordinance, legislation that is gonna be circulated. As soon as this is adopted, that I will be circulating and we'll be talking.
There'll be a lot of changes to that.
There'll be a lot of changes, but this PUD can be, in a tandem fashion, reviewed with subdivision.
Subdivision?
There'll be a lot, they can be laid out next to each other for discussion, analysis, and content.
okay,
So I guess the
and they do
recommendation
need
at
to
this
be-
point, keep it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Keep this, right,
Back
is what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
yeah, okay, all
Okay,
right,
I get
I think before that also,
for time purposes, let's move on. Page 59, modifications of bulk requirements.
May I go back one more item, Jerry?
Yeah.
Please? I added, and this was my ad, I added very little to this document, but on page 55, development plan, I added all other information and documentation requested by the plan commission. Want you to note that, and that's
Okay,
oh, down, aye,
yeah,
aye.
yeah, well, that would make everything a little easier.
Gives you more control.
yeah.
And make sure it's in black.
I'm gonna ask for the, how the boulders are gonna be laid out.
You can ask whatever you want there.
Or pork chops.
Yeah.
On my plate.
Yeah.
Where's the pork chop going?
Yeah.
Okay, page 60, yard requirements. Somebody's phone buzzing. 61, 62. Or,
62, I think it's 1218, somewhere around.
What's that?
say again?
Just the bottom of 62, it's asking which ordinance number. I think it's 1218. 1235A, is that floodplain ordinance?
I don't know.
I got a question, 61.
Dang.
Page 61?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
carport. Says
Oh, good.
it's gonna be open on 3 sides? Isn't usually
Carport.
carport open on 2?
Well, I mean, at the,
Three. It's an overhang from the building, it'd be three.
Let's say at least.
well, if it's attached to the house, Chuck, it
Yeah.
can be three. It's freestanding,
Just the, yeah,
You just
It
have
could still be
two
three.
posts, and it's three.
because I've seen other ones that are, you know,
yeah, the
on the
freestanding
two
one.
sides
The
and then.
freestanding ones, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the question?
Well,
Oh, open on three sides,
right, it says
yeah.
entirely,
But this
at
definition,
least, it has to be open at least three sides.
yeah, this carport though is, the implication is this is attached to a structure.
Three sides it has to be.
Yeah, because the freestanding ones technically aren't open on three sides. They're only open on two sides.
That's what I'm saying, but this one says at least three, and that's why I'm,
I don't think you guys wanted it, did you? You
What?
guys didn't want those
I remember
standalone carports,
conversation.
did you?
There's nothing says we can't have them though.
It's like,
Definition, you can define them out.
Yeah. Okay. This is for an attached. We got the freestanding ones all over the place. There's no permits for any of them.
it says to attach, that's why, that's,
Does it say attached?
no, that's what I'm asking.
Should that say attached?
I don't think so.
Clarification?
The only thing you do is start the sentence, and attached carport.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, let's, that would dial that in, would,
Yeah,
and then the freestanding ones would still be three,
yeah.
out
In the
out
yard.
field, yeah. Okay, go ahead and add that, an attached carport. Okay, 62, 63, anything on 64 that concerns anybody? 14, that's pretty much the same as where it is now, right? The chart for accessory buildings, page 64,
I don't think it was.
I don't think it's
yeah, nothing's changed. It looks correct. Okay. 65. Six, 67. Let's see, 67 has 30 foot, let's see, steps and ladders. Dish antennas. Parking and loading requirements. 70. Required off-street parking 10 feet, handicap parking, the graph, or the schedule chart on 72 is pretty much unchanged. Seems to be. 73, 74. Um, 75, 76, parking restriction. This truck parking, you have, is there more? Because that's getting to be a problem around town, is overnight truck parking.
Oh, God.
Should this, huh?
Oh, God.
No, the trucks, yeah, not
That's
the
what I meant.
What do you consider a truck?
you put is there more?
You know, 20 years ago, this was done.
Hey, listen, we're running out of time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't take the fork in the road.
Anecdotal assistance sometimes is warranted. It wasn't pretty.
Okay.
Okay, I got that out.
Do we need to do something, with this? You put, should the ordinance be inserted? What are you asking there, Dave? I don't
Never seen either
understand.
one of those ordinances. I didn't even know they existed.
All hell broke loose. All the truck, you know, like they're doing in Canada,
Yeah,
Oh, God.
all right.
they showed up.
Listen, item 19. Are you talking about the overnight truck parking ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, inserted in there. But do we need a definition of what a truck is?
Well, we have commercial trucks that are like electrical trucks, people bring home from work.
Yeah,
They park in the driveway, they park out in the street.
yeah.
They're not semi-trucks, you know, but
What,
they're
I
big.
think that ordinance has some definitions for it, right?
all right, well, we need to
Well,
know what,
there's 20 pages of definitions, so there's a definition there
no,
for
the
everything.
ordinance for the trucks.
Okay.
467, 481. I've never seen either one.
Yeah,
But there's definitions.
I would
I don't
hope there
have
would
it,
be.
guys.
ordinance
No, I
number
understand.
467 and 481. You find it, Chuck?
No.
Okay. All right, let's keep going, get through this pile of papers here. Okay, that was page 67. We need to find out what a truck is. Page 77, 78, 79, page 80. Page 80 at the top, we're sticking with that 6 months for, use, looks to be. Page 81, this D. Oliphant at the top to confirm accuracy.
Can we just, well, we're just bringing in the ordinance, it looks like.
I just, was reading.
I think this is
You're the lighting guy.
Yeah, I'll double check it, but it certainly looks like the ordinance. Do we want to bring it in, or can we just reference it by ordinance?
You can reference it by ordinance, but, yeah, I need to be careful. We need to make sure it's married, connected, as amended from time to time, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly at least shorten this up a little bit.
Will you send me something over tomorrow
Yeah.
for that?
We're
I
gonna
think
stick with,
it's- I think it's entirely cold.
the horizontal lenses?
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you want to change it.
Well, I guess the question is, horizontal lenses, if they drop down, they're not horizontal.
No, they have to be shielded too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
As
As long as you and I don't get into this discussion ever.
No, we will not. I'll let you know.
Okay. Don's gonna insert that. 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. Do we, this is make and model, manufacture, are those considered examples, or are those what we require?
Where are you at again?
On page 85 at the top, just noticed that you're calling out brands. Can you really call out brands?
No, you're not supposed to. But that,
Well,
Or equal, some type of language
yeah, or
like that.
equal. You need
or
to
equal,
use-
yeah, okay, all
or
right,
equivalent.
okay.
So, we're going to reference lighting requirements by existing standalone ordinance, but we have then 4 or 5 pages here of specs and requirements and the like. Which is it?
I don't think it needs to be both. I think we can probably strip lots off and try to just reference the ordinance, that's just my opinion, though.
Okay,
Well, but you also have
This
pole-
is how I got it.
Yeah, but you also have pole foundations, you have all those requirements also. But
Yeah.
Those will be in the ordinance.
In the ordinance, yeah. A lot of, this looks like it's verbatim. I'm not having it in front of me, but a lot of this is directly from it.
I mean, we're talking about the pole itself,
Oh, I know.
the satin finish. So,
So, it's confusing though. What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be at the top? Here, we're gonna, in chapter 13, lighting requirements, we're gonna have section A,
well,
intent and purpose, and
Well, there's-
section B, what,
he's got or equal here, sorry, I didn't see
There's
that.
no equal in there.
Yeah, or equal.
Yeah.
We can probably put intent and purpose and applicability, but I would say beyond that, reference the ordinance, because, yeah, it's.
The ordinance is gonna have the foundation in there too, section
Yeah.
G, it's gonna have all that in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those
all
are.
right, we'll reference the ordinance.
I'll look for this from you.
Yeah.
Electric cable, page 88.
Shortened up the ordinance.
Yep.
We got our foot candles, we got our fluxes, changeable message signs. We have, prohibited outdoor lighting. That's, page, 94.
Yeah, this is the ordinance.
Okay.
Just pulled in.
All right, fence requirements, I think this fence thing should be certainly dialed in, vision triangles and the like. Signs, 98.
That'll be further to kind of clarify the subdivision.
Okay. Page 100. 101. 102. Site plan, page 104. Duly designated town official. Procedure for review and approval. So if there's a duly designated town official, and it shows up here and we don't like what the site plan looks like, doesn't seem quite cohesive, does it?
What do you mean?
I'm just talking about in general.
For the procedure? Section B?
Section C. Well, it's up there too, I just noticed section C, number 1. Petitioner shall schedule and attend a staff meeting. Petitioner shall submit a proposed preliminary site plan to the duly designated town official. Plus 1 week prior to the staff meeting. And this is where those details that you guys were talking about.
Yeah, this has kind of been the revised system over the last probably 6 to 9 months. Is that any petitioner has scheduled something, generally planning director would be Jill, but whoever in the town.
Yeah,
And then comes before you as a concept discussion. And
well, I think that's been working pretty damn good.
Yeah, it has. It's kind of given everybody a little more time to get through some of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I think that's what that's trying to
okay.
summarize there.
Everybody's good with duly designated town official?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so too, because if somebody has an R1 lot and they wanna come in and they wanna build a house, they should be able to go to the window, have the duly designated town official check to make sure they meet all the setbacks, et cetera, and sell them a permit.
yeah. Okay, all right, then, page 105, page 106. Page 107, looks pretty clean. Page 108, down at the bottom. What are we gonna do about legacy lot regulations?
Those are non-conforming. That's why that comment is there, question is there.
Well, we have 50 feet wide and 5,000 square feet. So what regulation are you referring to?
There was consistent discussion about fine-tuning and/or making more usable legacy lots. It was
I think
almost as though it was an overlay to the zoning district classification in the older areas of our town. And,
Well, I think that's where we came up with the 50 feet.
well, 50 feet
Why?
is in the books, it's
Well-
been in the books since 1989. So,
But we backed up from that. We decided, Mr. Ostrian, that we weren't gonna include legacy lots, only houses on legacy lots.
It was vacant.
So that way-
It was vacant land and non-vacant land.
Got rid of vacant, didn't they?
Yes, we got rid of vacant. We only said, if a person has a house on a meets and bounds parcel, who they wanna build a garage, or they wanna do this or do that, and they're pre-1970 or 67, whenever the town was here, then that overlay is applicable. If they just have 10 or 15, 25-foot lots, they have to go through the normal process.
Well, this, section 4 here, this is a lot, this is not with a home. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of record.
non-conforming, yeah, okay.
These are a
So
combination
this-
of lots of record, not meets and bounds.
So this is a vacant piece of property. Is everybody good with the 50 feet and the 5,000?
Yeah, that's what we talked
Yeah,
about all
that's
along.
what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is lots. I missed that part.
Yeah, I thought we whacked that section with lots, and that would have to abide by our two zoning and go through the normal process of 10,000 square foot, if there's no houses on these legacy lots, because we have a slew of them.
Right.
I thought we were just trying to help the person who lives in a house that is trying to improve his or her home on that small lot.
Vacant land was.
With Rick, yeah, I thought Rick, at our last meeting Rick was at, I thought we said, hey, look, we have way too many, I'll just use Pond and Companies, 25-foot lots everywhere that could instantaneously turn into a zillion more little cottage homes everywhere.
We talked about having, where you had a 25-foot vacant lot, if you wanted to build on it, you had to acquire more property to make it at least 50 foot wide to build on it. If you have an existing home on a lot, 2,500 square feet, minimum lot size.
2,500 or 5,000?
5,000 for 50 foot vacant.
Right.
2,500 with a house on it. 25 foot wide. That's what we talked about, that I remember.
$25-foot wide lot, John?
25 foot wide. Because they have a lot of those in town.
That's a three-pointer, I guess.
I remember, I do remember what Mr. Foreman's talking about. To help somebody fix up something existing is what this was not for.
Cottage overlay.
Yeah.
The cottage overlay was to encourage people to improve their houses, lots, whatever. No, not lots, houses on small lots. And we were going to make the side yard setbacks minimum, the front yard setbacks minimum, so that if a person wanted to build a garage, then they could. And we discussed just empty lots and whether or not they should fall into the legacy category. And I thought it was discussed that we would not do that. Those would have to abide by the typical R2 zoning that most of them are in, or get a zone change if they're R1.
All right.
I remember the debate and discussion, and it was healthy. That wasn't what the document that I was given to clean up said. What you have is, what I got, July, or January 6th.
I think we're gonna have to, revisit this. There's some minutes
Yes.
or something you can find actually that will, help us, memory deprived folks, other than John.
I'll take a look through the old minutes and, compile a list and
Yeah,
send them out.
yeah, that would be great.
John's absolutely right. There were two aspects to that discussion,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, Rick was in the room, we were going all back and forth with that.
But it did not end up in this draft. That's why the question.
Yeah. See, section J is redevelopment of existing non-conforming structures, page 109. Which is kind of what John was, hinting to.
Well, and that's what this John just said.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah. I'm not sure this reflects what our discussion was though, exactly. Or close to exact. All right. Well, it's after 7 o'clock, so, let's stop with, page 108. So we can get some clarification. whatever you can find, Ashley, that'd be great. Whatever phone a friend will do, that'd be great too. Okay. Okay, that concludes this, special work session to be continued.
Are we gonna finish this tonight? Or are we gonna wait till next month?
Well, we need clarification on this. So when do you think we're gonna finish this? When this rest of this is done? I have no problem with that. We can continue on when we're done here.
You're at the finish line, you're a nostril away from the finish line.
Yeah, we'll
Couple
pick it up
things,
at the end.
couple things
We'll pick
between
it-
Don and me.
We'll pick it up at the end. Yeah, we'll pick it up at the end. I just,
I get it.
everybody,
I just,
you know,
I was hopeful you wouldn't all leave and we'll come back in a month or two and
Finish it.
finish.
call over to Lighthouse upstairs.
They're closed today,
That doesn't mean
Monday
upstairs
night.
isn't open.
Monday night.
Okay, that temporarily concludes that work session. Okay, now we're gonna move into the special public meeting. I'm gonna call that to order now. Okay, we will, call that to order at 7:04. Let's stand and pledge the flag again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we will move into special public meeting, item 1, Perez, 13901 Lac Drive. This is preliminary plat, owner petition Ricardo Perez, 13901 Lac Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity 13901 Lac Drive, Cedar Lake. The request is petitioner is requesting preliminary plat for a 2-lot subdivision. Good evening.
Hello, Jack House from DBG, representing the petitioner, the Perez's. At our last meeting, we had some items that needed to be addressed, and we discussed having a meeting with the attorney and your engineer to discuss those matters. We did have that meeting last week. I think it was Wednesday. Something like that. We had it shortly after we had that meeting. I think it was, discussed some matters. We made some adjustments that took a little bit longer than we anticipated to get a response back in. This item is subject to your zone change, which you're currently discussing. And so I appreciate Mr. Sharp and Mr. Foreman making the recommendation that this be put on a special meeting. We had anticipated that being ready, but I don't think we're going to be at that spot. So I think it would be best to request a deferral to 2 weeks to our regular meeting. Or actually, next week, Wednesday, to our regular meeting.
Is that enough time, Jack?
I believe it is. All the items that we discussed regarding the legal descriptions have been added to the plat. The other items that Don had referred to in his letter had previously been addressed. So I believe that we'll, Don needs to conduct his review, and Dave also, but I believe that we should be ready.
Okay.
We got this whole week to...
Before I solicit a motion
Sure.
for your request of a deferral, did we ever work out? Lac Drive's private. Okay. But the town still plows it.
Maybe not anymore, but it is private.
Okay. The house all the way at the end on the lake, is that part of this neighborhood, or is this part of the unfinished road that's, I can't know what to call it, Binion, but whatever that branch of road changes to Wagon Trail?
The property on the corner is a subdivided the actual subdivided lots. It's part of the Binion second edition, and that
There's actually
stops.
two property owners down there.
Okay, so that person is gonna have rights to use Black Drive?
On the document.
On the document,
Mhm.
okay, but as far as the town plowing it or maintaining it anymore, is it safe to say that's over with now?
I can't answer that definitively, and I'm not certain I want to until this plat is processed for approval.
Okay,
It's
is
been
that,
handled this way for decades. So,
well, this open, and this is more internal than external.
maybe, I mean, there's gonna be a change in what owner responsibilities are. So,
Okay. Well, there was mention of the gate, that's why I'm asking about the, Second
The
edition.
petitioner is not requesting a gate.
okay, well, that was discussion of the gate.
It was a discussion, I think, of adjacent property owners lying to the south. And the petitioner is not adverse to that discussion, but that is not a part of the request. The request is for a two-lot subdivision to divide this property. And we are not considering Lac Drive to be the private drive by which we are using for ingress and egress into these parcels. The private drive that we'd be using for frontage for the ordinance would be the road that's on the southeast side.
Just want to make sure everything's in order.
Understand completely, and, you know, we've discussed, gone over the legal documents that we could find. We've had title searches done. All the documents that we have, are representing on plat. And we feel that we are going beyond what's currently there regarding the access rights that are granted.
So one more question, from Mr. Perez's house south,
Mhm.
as it was written in 1892, every person has a right to cross to the next one to get to the end. Is that how it's?
The person, so like, and
Mr.
it's
Perez
actually,
being first.
it only relates to the three properties that pre-existed. So it's, we can pull it up, but there's, it's not as direct adjacent property owners, not included in that document. There's two parcels in the middle that are the older homes. If you look at, let's say for instance, the sewer atlases that were put together in the 1970s by the town for the installation of the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
Those two houses are the only two houses, and Mr. Perez's house are the only houses there besides the ones down at the end. So the documents we found relate to those two properties, getting out and not actually to Binion, getting out to Moore Street, because at the time of those documents, Binion Road didn't even exist. So they also allow the property owners, to put fences up. So it was not ever intended to be used in the way that it's currently being used.
So Jerry, they referenced that original 1892 document on the plat.
We do.
And then essentially it's a catch-all for the remaining, current lots that are heading south from Mr. Perez to allow ingress egress.
Right.
Okay.
And we recognize that those folks down there do have certain ingress and egress rights. Whether they're officially granted or not, they're using them, and have for a number of years. So we are granting ingress and egress rights over that.
This has been an interesting,
Like I said, we feel
interesting piece of the town for a long time.
Mhm.
I mean, in the intention, as you mentioned, the property on the peak right there,
Mhm.
that's several lots that are within that Binion second edition. I think the intent is when or if those parcels ever develop, they would be required to improve 140th Avenue as part of our subdivision control ordinance. And
Okay,
they would
140th is the one that turns to mud.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they no longer would need Lac Drive
Yeah.
in order, because there's public right-of-way that's already dedicated there. It's
Okay.
just not improved. So there would be improvement requirements made. Therefore, that access would no longer be needed along Lac Drive. Sorry, that's me. Sorry. I'm supposed to be here. And so I am here.
And you're here.
That might be your GPS.
So that's
Okay.
the intent there.
I just want to make sure everything was,
Yeah,
As
so I want to make sure
perfect as
that staff has proper opportunity to review everything that was submitted, and they'll have that to be able to do by the end of the week, so.
Jack, are there any issues that remain open about emergency service to lots?
I've not heard of any. We intend that, emergency service could use the private drive in the back to get to, these two particular parcels, and if they needed to get to parcels along Lac Drive remains, in its current condition. They're not planning to, obstruct that or remove that in any way, so.
So like across the street where we would have to bust the gate down to get access, we don't have that.
You don't have that here, no, there's no intent, and I would say,
Breakaway gate type thing.
as it related to, maybe something in the future, if there was a gate to go up there, there's technology available that, gate codes can be given to emergency services, so, they've got immediate access when they pull up there.
Down the road.
Yeah, exactly, but that's not something that,
and on here, the sewer line's been located?
it has, yeah.
Good, where the sewer line's at? Okay.
So there's an easement for sure.
Huh?
There's an easement for sure.
Well, right down Lac Drive,
Down Lac Drive.
right down Lac Drive.
Measured from the bluff.
The, Don and the easement around the back of Mr. Perez's property to the southeast there, you're good with that?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
essentially gonna be his access point to Binion.
Okay.
That'll be his approved road effectively. He'll still be addressed off of Lac. We kind of all agreed that the address would still be Lac just because of the other existing lots to the south.
Yeah, I got you.
We figure the mail carrier already knows that, why trick them up, so.
Okay. All right, Mr. Foreman, you have any questions about the Perez special public meeting item, Black Drive?
No, I do not.
Okay, Mr. Sharp, any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Sephora?
No.
Mr. Becker, you good? You're good? Okay. Anything else?
Is 7 days enough time?
What was that?
Is 7 days enough time? I mean, we're back here next week.
Yeah,
it's
so,
next
I mean,
Wednesday.
I've started looking at it. I got it on Thursday. I was out of town all weekend, so I just started looking at it today. But no, I think we should be okay.
Yeah, so just so you know, on the plat, previously, we had said, these tax ID numbers were beneficiaries. We actually went to the county and got the last, deed of record, and those are referenced by legal description and deed of record recorded on the, on the plat. So, that was the major change that we did.
Okay, since there are no more questions, would anyone like to make a motion for the preliminary plat for a two-lot subdivision, 13901 Lac Drive?
You asked for deferral.
Oh, we did ask for deferral, sorry.
I'll approve it, I'll take that too.
Sorry, I backed up on that. Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to grant the deferral?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Becker to grant the deferral, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Sharp, roll call please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Kapora?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkening?
Yes. Motion carries.
All right.
Okay.
Adjourn the public meeting.
Yes, sir. Okay, this concludes the special public meeting. We're going to move on to the work session. Item 1, Cedar View Final Plat, two-lot subdivision, owner James and Smith, Brooker, 17316 Camelot Drive, Lowell. Petitioner requesting a final plat for a two-lot subdivision. Do we have anyone here for this item?
Yeah, we have. I'll go out tomorrow.
Anyone here for this item?
Nope.
Oh, this is not good. Okay.
No,
Don?
we have the final plat.
Huh?
We have the final plat. The letter is likely going to go out tomorrow. So,
What?
the letter will likely go out tomorrow.
Oh, your letter?
Is it all done?
We have the final plat, we reviewed it.
Okay, so what's
There's some very
what's
minor
not done?
comments on it.
Minor
They're minor
comments.
comments, just cleanups. It should be ready. I don't know why they're not here tonight, but.
I don't know, I don't understand why this is constant with this development.
I mean, the plat, so far the comments are minor. They got some cleanups to do because they had 2 front yard setbacks on preliminary and they got some lines that need to be cleaned up, but for the most part, it's in good working order. They'll need a performance letter of credit as well for some entrance improvements.
Do you have an estimate on that?
It is about 14 grand and change.
That's it?
Yeah,
Or so much, sure.
yeah. It's just the entrance improvements that are in the right of way. So it's small, 3% inspection fee, I think it's around 300 something.
In the workshop, so.
And the port, that's pretty much included. It's within the right of way. So, I mean, yeah, they got some minor stuff to clean up, but we'll get the letter out tomorrow and, yeah, I thought they'd be here
Well,
tonight,
since we don't have anybody to communicate the important, the high importance of next Friday being, noon being the deadline for these corrections, so,
This Friday.
yeah, this Friday. So, yeah, it'd be great if you could get that to them tomorrow.
Yep.
Because, like I said, this is constant.
They will be reminded.
This is constant. Okay, next item, Silver Meadows rezone, Town of Cedar Lake, P.O. Box 707, petitioner Diamond Peak Group LLC, 1313 White Hawk from Point. Vicinity is 155, 155th in Parish Avenue. Rezone from ag to planned unit development.
I'm Mark Anderson, Anderson, on behalf of the petitioner Diamond Peak Group. This property might be familiar to...
You have an address?
I'm sorry, what?
You have an address?
Yes, this is at...
No,
Your
Oh, 9211 Broadway, Maryville.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Basically, we're here on a planning application to rezone from agricultural to PUD. This property is subject to a real estate exchange agreement of which the town is the owner, as listed on the planning application. This property is planned to be a 104-lot subdivision at the corner of Parish, northeast corner of Parish and 155th Avenue. It's approximate, just under 40-acre parcel. There's some issues with respect to detention, I think, in the southeast corner. That's why there's the detention pond that's shown there. The property would be for 104 single-family lots. As this was here for purposes of the work session, to see if there are any questions, comments. I will say that we produced, along with the planning application, a proposed PUD guidelines, as well as the declaration of covenants for the property.
PUD guidelines or PUD rules?
The same thing, one and the same, yes.
Okay. Don, do you like any more detail out of so far what you've seen here?
Yes, I think this is the only really site plan that's been provided, correct? I think.
That's correct. That's what it is at this point in
Okay.
the process.
Are you guys anticipating providing more details from a preliminary engineering standpoint?
Yes, but not, I don't think during the time period in which we're looking for the rezone process. But
Okay.
this would be the essential plan upon which they're looking to do detailed engineering.
Yeah, we're going, DDG is involved in the project. My understanding, I'm not sure, Mark is handling the rezone application at this point, so we've not been engaged to prepare engineering drawings at this point.
Well,
And
You should have been here at 6, so you could have heard all the good discussion.
Yeah,
The zone change is interwoven with
sure.
the engineering.
Yeah, at least preliminary level, huh? Yeah, at least more of a level than just, architectural rendering effectively.
For a concept, for a concept,
Well, that's not even part of the new ordinance, that's the existing. So typically, we would like to see more engineering detail, doesn't have to be full-scale engineering, but at least enough to give us an idea, if the concept's viable.
Okay, well, the PUD guidelines do go into detail with respect to lot sizes and the like as to what we'd be looking at here. And of course, we would go into extreme detail when it comes to platting and subdivision, final subdivision. Everything would be done according, to requirements.
Yeah, this is where we get into interpretation
well,
of the ordinance.
this is great for a concept.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fantastic, because this is better than what we usually get. Sometimes we get 4 colors of Sharpies. And the PUD being this detailed is good. I was looking over this also. How many products are you gonna have in here? How many different options of those products are there going to be?
They usually offer, it seems like between 5 and 10 different options, but there could be more with respect to that. They've got there's other developments in the area where you can look to what Diamond Peak has done. Lynn's Way, for example, just northwest of there. They've also done work in most recently with Latitude Development, which is development on 117th, in Winfield. So that's another one that would have examples of the type of plans that they would have. They usually look towards more of a modern type of a look, I would say, as opposed to.
I think what I'm after, I'm not interested in driving around looking at Diamond Peak stuff. I'm interested in something that's on paper.
Okay, very good. And it's on their website then too, a whole host of different samples and things like that for potential buyers to have.
Okay. Like I said, I think this is good for a concept, and I think what our engineer's after is something a little more detailed.
So that's something more detailed for purposes of the zone change?
Yeah,
Or beyond that?
to actually have an idea about what we typically require.
You get into some detail with a scale and a pencil, and all of a sudden you realize that, something doesn't fit. And then all of a sudden we have a 150-foot private road with no curbs and no sidewalks, and in the middle of a neighborhood.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, this looks pretty detailed though from what we normally get.
no, this is a wonderful picture. Yeah, this is a wonderful picture. This is top.
No, I'm talking the wording. Now, I guess
Oh, the wording.
I read through the wording.
Yeah.
And all the,
Yeah, the wording.
all the details there.
The wording is good. Wording is good.
And case in point, the wording is something that we've worked on in the past on the Beacon Point projects in the last few years. It's kind of, that's the basis upon which these guidelines were put in place and approved by the town.
Well, I'm gonna be looking for latitude level work product in the documentation. So that's what they can expect from me in this. That's a pretty good bar. It's representative, I think, of what you've told us and staff.
Yeah, like the document references preliminary plat, and Meg said a plat needs to be full on, perfect, but it would help to see something like that, so at least we're,
Yeah, we're past, we're kind of past the concept at this point. So, yeah. I don't think anybody has an issue with this property and what this might be.
Yeah.
Chuck, anything?
I think we have to approve it, but.
Yes, sir.
Because I've worked with you in the past in another community, and I know I brought this up to Michael Herbers. Is the HOA going to maintain the park in that area? And does the planning commission want to consider, I believe the town has plans to put a park nearby? Is another park nearby, a similar park, going to be appropriate?
What was discussed here regarding this, and I think it's in the document here, is that the HOA will be maintaining the park that will be given, will be maintaining the park that is dedicated to the town.
Okay.
So it'll be a public park. We've done this with, another
Centennial.
development recently.
Was it in Centennial?
No,
Up
it
the
was
street?
Filling
Centennial
in
is-
Utopia.
Shilling project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Token one.
Yeah. So that's kind of where this is at. That,
I don't want that.
everybody likes that. So, any questions, Chuck? No, got it?
No.
Is everyone?
It's been advertised?
This is, just a work session.
Okay,
So
no,
not
no, not for tonight. Has this been advertised for a public hearing?
We'll work with you on that. I'm assuming you'll want to do the advertising thing?
I don't know. I'll see.
Okay, we can get with you, yeah.
But just to clarify, everybody's okay with the concept site plan?
Yes.
Density, everything like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
All single family, correct?
All single-family homes, yes. And I think everything's going according to plan on the, real estate exchange agreement that the town signed. Probably familiar with that.
How big were these lots? 10,000 square feet? One or two or a little over?
70 by
The lots are
135.
94.50,
94, 150?
450.
The call typical now is 70 by 135,
Okay.
so
You need to think about the density.
94.50.
9450.
They're almost at 10,000.
Almost, they're 550 short.
That's a
What's-
typical one, exactly.
What's the, footprint of the house? What's that coverage gonna be?
We have, you know what, that's actually, we have in the, covenants in particular, and I think we may have it in the, guidelines. But we indicate in the covenants that a one-story residence would be,
It's in there.
yeah, one story, oh wait, okay, 2 stories would be at least 2,000 square feet, 1.5 story, 1,950 square feet at least, and then 1-story residence at least 1,800 square feet.
Okay, I think we need to see those on paper, don't we?
Well, yeah, I need to know what percentage coverage is it, 25%
Of,
of the lot?
Of the lot.
oh,
That's what I need to know.
percentage coverage, okay.
I'm more concerned with the 10,000 request for sheds. That would be too close to the house in the backyard. Somewhere in this covenants, does it mention the properties with 2 front yards and the fence requirements or anything? Do you have any, or are there no fences allowed?
I can tell you that too.
No antennas?
Okay, so that's 11.08 of the, before I was looking at when it comes to, minimum finished floor area, that's, 10.09A. So 11.08 talks about fences, and what we indicated in here is that any fence must be approved by the, declarant or architectural review committee. Only aluminum picket fences painted black will be allowed in all occasion, and in any and all occasions, wood, vinyl, chain link, and privacy fences are prohibited from use. They all must be located in the rear of the lot and approved and permitted by the town of Cedar Lake. So we have it.
Okay. Don, any other immediate thoughts?
No, I think some of the bulk standards need to be kind of vetted out. I think a lot of that, like you said, minimum lot coverage, lots of different stuff need to be added potentially.
Yeah, I think with the products, we need to know the lot coverage. What kind of fits where.
Okay.
There should be a schedule in here as well for development. Just looking at it now, there's several things that need to be included in this.
Jack, is this, gonna be like Beacon East or Beacon Point, or what is it? This isn't gonna be like this at all.
No, I would say it's more gonna be like, it's probably more like the Latitude project than anything in town here, but it would be most similar to, Lakeside. In the sense that it's a single family development, it's a little bit smaller lots than that, but but that's the feel in the neighborhood you're gonna get, because the product's probably really similar in size. You know, in Lakeside, they somewhat appeared a little bit far apart, those houses, and it's gonna be a little bit more normal scale.
Those are 80 foot, right?
They're 80s there, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess,
Was the existing lakeside PUD, or was that just traditional subdivision?
Straight zoning.
R2?
there was straight zoning, John.
Yes, okay. Like if this development we're looking at was, like John said, 550 square foot more, then it would really fit right into the straight zoning.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
But I think with their covenants, and that's, that PUD that I read through, the restrictions, the covenants and things like that that they had, and the lots being fairly decent size, yeah, I would agree though that, showing one of each side's house so everybody can see what the side yard, backyard setbacks are is, important.
Okay. All right, does anybody have anything else for Mr. Anderson right now?
No, sir.
Mr. Roshan? No.
I guess then the next question would be, do you see us need to come back for another work session, or would we be able to, you would like us to come back with these additional things for another work session?
Yes. I'd also perhaps like you to figure out what you're going to allow for fences on the corner lots. I know your fence thing is pretty detailed, but when people want to push the fences to the edges, I'd like to have in your covenants that the fence goes here, if you're on a lot with two front yards. I mean, we're still gonna have people show up like we do already for Birchwood looking for a fence. But if it's in the, if it's in the language, it helps us a great deal.
Okay.
And then the products, if you have any pictures of the products, and how they'll be, what the lot coverage will be, like John was saying. Dave, anything else? No. Don?
Not right now.
Okay.
I'd probably issue a letter just for this.
Yeah, I wish I would.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Oh,
Good. Good? Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much. Okay, item 3 for the work session is a concept plan. This is for MacArthur Elementary School. Petitioner is requesting a concept plan for a one-lot subdivision and site plan. Good evening.
Good evening. Don Torringa with Torringa Engineering. I'm representing the Crown Point School Corporation.
Address real quick.
That's a good question.
Your address.
907 Ridge Road, Munster, Indiana.
Very good, thank you.
I thought you meant Douglas MacArthur School.
I can't tell you the address there either, but I know where that's at.
This is on the school itself is located.
12900 Fairbanks.
There you go. Speaking of the caretaker,
I was just gonna say the address is across from Bob Carnahan's house.
Does everyone
Got
have
it.
a copy of the site plan?
this,
No, this is what's being proposed.
we have a couple different,
That's,
before and after,
I'd like to pass these out like this.
certainly.
Thank you.
Being proposed here are modifications to the existing school. What you see on that site plan, the middle portion, is the existing school with the loopy wing to the south. Everything that is along the current east side of the building as far as the parking area is concerned is to be demolished. The west side of the school has a small parking lot, and what is being proposed is a little bit difficult to see on this because what you're seeing with the crosshatched area is actually representing heavy-duty asphalt pavement. So what is being proposed are all new sidewalks, a new building addition on the east side of the building. You see that as sort of a box there, that's a new gymnasium. On the southwest corner of the building, that building addition is going to be all classrooms. In addition, the area that currently sits behind the building between in the Y-shaped area there, that's all asphalt now. That's all going to be torn out, new sidewalks are going to be put in, new stairs, the stairways and the handicap ramp accesses are not in good condition. With that being said, they're going to add a 16,000 square foot soft play area, which is pretty state-of-the-art. And there's also going to be a 14,000 square foot asphalt hard play area. New sidewalks along Fairbank Street where there are no sidewalks. Storm drainage. There's also going to be, right now there's a garbage dumpster. You can see it on the drawing, the very top of the drawing, you see dumpster enclosure. That's an open dumpster area. That's going to be a new dumpster with brick walls, 10-foot gated opaque fence. Quite a few modifications. They're going to do quite a few that you don't see on here also, which will be in the architectural plan. On the interior of the building, they're going to remodel the kitchen, remodel quite a few of the classrooms. So this is a major upgrade to a school that has been there for a long time. With that being said, there's also an issue with the property because it sits on 6 parcels of land. So we are subdividing a one-lot subdivision, taking all 6 parcels, putting them together and making it into one lot.
How did Bob Carnahan let that happen?
It sounds good to me.
There will be 2 stormwater detention areas and a new baseball field being built. Originally, they wanted us to put in a soccer field in the southwest corner that went along with the detention pond, but that simply was not possible. So, I have submitted plans. I don't know if you got them or not, Don.
I got it, yeah.
I'm sure there will be changes to them. I haven't received anything back yet, but we will make the changes when they come in. With that being said, I'm done.
So is this a PUD one-lot subdivision proposal?
No, I don't believe it is. It's just a one-lot subdivision.
With how many buildings?
1?
So it's all gonna be connected.
Yes.
It's hard to tell that from this document.
It's just there's one building, actually, there's one building out there now. I think they might have a garage or something. I'm not sure. I get this confused with other schools, but the building addition on the east side is added directly to the existing building. The building on the southwest corner is an add-on to the, connecting to the building there too. So it's all one building.
Well, this is a concept. Anybody have any questions about what they're going to do here?
Are you tearing down the school?
No. They're remodeling interior portions of it. But the school will not be torn down at all, no.
And all this parking lot off of Fairbanks is going?
The Fairbanks parking lot that is currently there, which is similar to what you see on this, but smaller, is all being torn out, and all new parking is being put in.
Oh, so it's staying.
Stay here, yeah. This is, again, and I apologize for the cross-hatching, I was at a funeral and did not make these, I picked these up and came here directly from the funeral, so I didn't see that, but if the cross-hatching wasn't on there, you would see there are a number of parking spaces, handicap spaces, and there are bus parking spaces that were never there before.
So the buses will be parked outside, 365?
Now, again, I don't know how to describe it, but this is where the bus parking, you can see the long.
But the buses won't be inside? There's
No,
no bus barn, there's no garage, there's
barn,
nothing?
no.
Okay.
Don, do you know how many existing spots there are? Just curious how many we're gaining.
That was, unfortunately, Don, that happens to be on the existing drawing, and this is the proposed.
No worries, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's considerably less than what is being proposed here.
What's the intent for the rear parking area on the west? Is that primarily for staff, or?
The pickup?
I noticed a large cul-de-sac.
That's a turnaround, yeah, that actually is the staff will parking in the front. There are no parking spaces back there in that cul-de-sac. That is the pickup and drop-off area for the children. And the idea is to have that 30 feet wide so that you can have a nice, easy drive back there, turn around in the cul-de-sac, and all the drop-off then will be in front of the doorway that you...
But that's not bus drop-off, that's just
No,
car
that's-
drop-off?
No. And originally, we were not going to put heavy-duty asphalt there, but they specifically asked us to do that because of, unfortunately, Northwest Indiana gets horrible weather. I don't know if anybody has noticed.
Yeah.
But,
Bond.
I mean, the goal is to take up traffic off of 129th?
correct.
Okay, then yeah, it's for there now.
That is correct, because right now, again, you don't see the existing, right now, the only parking that is on that west side is very small and it's up front. Doesn't extend back that far.
Don, are there any stormwater concerns there?
No, we met with Adam McAlpine, his stormwater engineer, and we kind of discussed the layout of it. There's kind of two breaks on this property, one to the west, which goes to Town Club Ditch, and then one that kind of goes south, which roundaboutly goes to Town Club Ditch as well.
So Town Club Ditch surprises us a lot.
It does. But, I mean, right now, there really is no detention on site. So
There is none.
they're effectively, and kind of the details, they're effectively providing detention for all the newly disturbed areas. So it should be markedly better from a rate perspective when this is done. So that should only help Town Club.
Parking lot spaces are 10 feet wide and 20 feet deep. Perfect.
Originally,
Perfect.
the company that we work for out of Indianapolis designed 9-foot by 20-foot spaces, and I threw it back in their face and said, I'm not doing that with you guys again. So this is
Well, it's Gibraltar, of course.
Exactly. So these are all 10 by 20.
Okay,
Good deal.
all right. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Torino?
No, I like it.
Any questions?
Plates.
No? Bob Carnahan, are you going to be keeping an eye on this? He will.
I'll measure it now.
He probably is. He's got his vest on or his weaving. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Mr. Foreman, anything?
no, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything from staff? Anyone? Okay. Mr. Austin, last call. You good? Okay. All right, thanks, Don.
Okay, how does this work now? You have another meeting this month, I doubt if we could get advertisement in or even respond to questions.
I think the intent is to go into the March sequence.
Which means that I should come back for the Plan Commission study session in the beginning of March again?
Yes,
Okay.
which would be March 2nd.
Very
As long
good.
as as long as the Dons are on the same page, we're all set.
Should be fine.
The Johns and the Dons.
Good, I like that.
I will see you March 2nd.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. We're going to, we're going to jump right back to this, we're going to conclude this, part of the work session and get back to the important business at hand, which is, page 108.
Still have two more items if you want to do them right now.
The sidewalk fee in lieu of?
And building regulations,
Okay.
the amendment.
All right. I don't want to talk about number 4,
Okay.
because, that's a whole other. Did we have,
That can occur during the subdivision control.
Yeah.
okay,
That's perfect.
building regulations and fee amendment. Was there, something in particular that, we need to hit on?
I'm working on,
Good there.
Okay, all
some
right,
amendments.
okay.
They're not ready.
Okay.
All right, then let's get to the, back to page 108, which we were, we're gonna need, hurry up.
Go ahead.
Thanks. We were going to, get some, clarification on this 108 section, some past discussions. So we'll go to page 109. Redevelopment of existing non-conforming structures. This is what Mr. Foreman was talking about. 5,000 square feet, 50 feet, minimum lot area width. Yeah, this is what, section J is what John was, referring to that I remember. Any questions on, page 109? Mr. Foreman, the language here is, redevelopment of existing non-conforming structures.
That's correct. That's what we changed it to with Rick's last discussion when he was still here.
Yeah, Ashley's gonna take a stab at digging into that and, see if, you can't find some of that information.
For section,
Got it.
for section H.
For section
Section
H on,
Well,
page 108 of the correct, of the, red line.
Section J, I think you all agree on section J, don't you?
Section J, yeah. The only clarification we need is section H.
did we remove all vacant, or was it only vacant below 5,000 square feet?
I thought vacant lots, non-conforming as to area and width.
I guess why do we even need to state H4 then? It's already kind of taken, that already doesn't meet your
Yeah,
R1, R2,
I got
R3.
it.
So
Yeah,
why
section 4 could be gone,
I think it's already kind of,
yeah. I think,
Yeah, I think that's what we might have done.
yeah.
That
But
can go.
but I think what Mr. Kapora was talking about was correct. If you had a 25 and you could get another 25, now you have something to work with. If you had 5,000 square feet.
yeah, which there's lots.
I think that was this, hey, John Kupora, weren't we talking about if a gentleman or a lady has a house and they buy the lot next door, then we would allow that as a part of that 5,000?
I believe so.
Or if they have an empty lot next door?
Yeah, they'd have to combine it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if they combine them, right.
So section H, we need a little clarification on. a little history discussion. Section 4 of H, Don, you're saying you could probably kind of get rid of it.
I mean, I think your
Yeah.
residential zoning doesn't allow it anyways, so.
Once we get, the 50 feet and the 5,000 is the key.
Yeah, because I think, like, like this up on the screen right now, they're lots of record, Shades Edition, another one of them, they're 25-foot lots. I know we got into these examples, I don't remember where we took it, but,
I don't know, it seems to me we're worrying about the minors.
yeah.
And if we continue, we keep trying to define what can happen on
Yeah,
50 by 100, we're going to
yeah,
be diminishing quality of life and value of property.
yeah. I mean, if somebody had 4 of those,
John's comment about an additional 20, you're buying the next lot, to make lots bigger, makes all the sense in the world.
yeah. Okay, so clarification on section H.
I've got it marked out to delete
Okay.
H4.
Section J, I think we're all good with section J, page 109. Let's see, now we have section, let's see, chapter 18. This is, more internal. Does anybody have any questions about any of this?
This is mostly law, it comes out of the Indiana Code, you can look at 36, 74, 900 series, and you can see that this tracked right out of that.
Okay. See page 111, page 112. 113, 114. You circled 50 feet in section 4, Dave. Were you
Which
thinking
page?
there was something wrong there?
Which page?
114, section 4, you circled 50 feet.
For site plan?
Or it's just a correction?
Right.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
Interpretation of zoning ordinance, that's Dave's. 115, designated, duly designated, page 116. Let's see, section E, enforcement. Okay, we got that. Section 1, or, I'm sorry, page 117. Agents, okay. Let's see. Page 118. We need, insert ordinance, okay, town ordinance 1270, okay. Page 119. Let's see, page 120, we have, 30 pages of definitions. 30 pages of definitions.
There are, on average, 20 definitions per page. I counted 605 definitions, wondering, really? That's what I was wondering.
Got it.
Was the truck on there?
I'm sorry?
Was the truck on there?
That's what I said. Are trucks in here?
The answer is no. The vehicle is.
Vehicles?
Vehicles.
Did Rick's update for the improved roadway make it on there?
Truck terminal is.
The improved roadway, not the,
Did that make it in the definitions, or did that make it into?
I don't know.
Won't be in here.
I guess, something that pops out is campground. And it says, tract of land designed for occupancy of 2 or more campsites. I guess what we do about the campers that are parked in places that people are just living in.
Are there 2 or more?
Yeah, are there two?
There's one or more.
One or more.
Anybody find truck?
No.
Okay. Back to Don's question, we had the improved public road. We were getting rid of that to say just improved road, correct?
Was that in the January 6th email?
I don't know where that's at. I got some files.
The only one I'm looking at is July, or January 6th.
Okay, I think it was in his email, I don't know if it made the document.
Page 153 of the iPad.
Man.
Now I gotta get back to the iPad, don't I?
So is that extraneous to the 150 pages of January 6th?
Mine was only 185.
Okay, I got it, street and private, that's where we put it.
Where, you got it?
Yeah, 150, 144 of the document and 150.
He's on 144, there is something on 144?
Yeah.
144.
You can do that. Wow.
Such
So
street
much
shall be
cheating.
improved to the town street standard, let's see.
So again, can
So-
somebody,
Go ahead.
can somebody, illuminate on the necessity of all these definitions?
So there's no interpretation.
Okay.
I'm still looking for Rick's thing. What are you said page 144 of the document?
144, chapter
More trees burned down.
20, 144. It's 153 of the PDF.
Okay, I'm looking at the paper here.
Paper is 144. There should be 2 red line, street private, and then street public.
Okay. Such street shall be improved, see that, Jerry? 144?
Yeah, the private thing.
Yeah, this was to the construction standards.
Yeah.
You were talking about the Schilling's distribution building issue. You have to front, you had to front on a improved public,
Yeah,
public right of
no
way.
longer public. But we also had no definition for improved either. Like, you have a problem with, especially roads that are narrow.
Okay,
Where we
so,
have right of ways of like 20, 25 feet, we can't even get our full width in them.
yeah, so you're good with
So
what
we
this is?
changed it to essentially say it should meet the typical section in depth, but essentially we can, basically have some wiggle room for those tight right of ways we have throughout town. So I'm fine. with
This is
it.
okay, Don?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right, Chuck, any definitions here that you are concerned about?
No.
John?
I think if you look at Havenwood's covenants, find how they define trucks, because you couldn't have anything like bigger than a pickup truck in the yard. So that might give you a little insight into.
Fine.
Yeah, I think Monastery Woods also has something similar. That's why on the weekends or overnights, there's trucks parked in the clubhouse parking lot.
Yeah,
Because they're 550s and 650 series trucks, and they're parked over there.
Of course they are.
The semis that are parked overnight at the old Circle Olds are the ones that we're kind of talking about, so. I'm not sure, are we after trucks in the Havenwood form, or are we after trucks in the semi?
Well, it's a start.
Okay.
It's a start, because they refer to pickup trucks. I don't remember exact terminology, but I remember when I was on the board there for a while, we'd had a lot of discussion or problems with people who like trucks that they drive home,
Service trucks.
a service truck, you know, and then have ladders on it or what have you, you know, and,
Is the definition of what most of us would consider a semi, is that something actually you could find in Havenwood's covenants?
I don't know.
So we can define what a truck is? Well, I don't want to get into license plate tags, because that's trouble too.
That's trouble, yeah.
Hey, Jared, like, David said earlier, back in 2008, we went through this and around, and I think we have a pretty good document.
Well, I thought we folded 10.
I even got a black eye in the trucking paper of America. Because I was the
You're
bad
lucky
guy
you're not in Canada,
letting people park semi-trailers idle all night long. I mean, I remember it clear. So I think whatever the document is that David referred to earlier, I think we pretty much beat that horse to death in 2008.
Well, the truck is like sidewalk. I guess,
I mean, I don't believe we should be, you go across the border just west of here. You got $1 million houses and the people won't let a guy bring home his Ford Transit van because it has a logo on it, right? They have to hide it or park it in the garage. And
yeah,
I don't think we want to get to that kind of restriction. I think we just don't want to have large type commercial trucks, perhaps the size of what you can find, is being parked down the streets and in driveways, et cetera.
yeah, I understand. I think the Havenwood covenants, for example, though, is to keep service trucks off the street, because nobody will park them in their driveway, number one. Number two, it's another vehicle in the neighborhood, another vehicle in the street. So it just adds to the traffic load, but, the truck
Right.
that we're talking about is, of course, a semi-tractor, so.
Yeah,
And a trailer sometimes.
And a trailer sometimes,
big difference.
so. Okay,
So, Don?
Wetlands and waters, so that's referenced in.
are you in the definitions?
No.
No.
Okay.
This is up towards the front. So it's referenced in, where'd it go? Chapter 3, zoning districts and maps, right under conditional development, district B zoning.
What page?
Chapter 3, page 4.
Chapter 3.
So that was an old district that, I thought we were leaving it in there. There was also a floodplain district that had a section, and that was deleted. I think we had to leave this in because there are existing parcels that are technically zoned wetlands and water course, which are primarily Lake Heritage Park properties on the south side of the lake. That's what we have in the current zoning map right now.
So what are you making, are you making recommendations to?
It's only mentioned in chapter 3 now. There's not an actual section for it no longer. I think it somehow got deleted. It probably shouldn't have.
So where do we need to add wetlands and watercourse district?
It should go behind that CDD, Conditional Development District B zoning district. But I don't believe it's in there anymore.
Well, I didn't see it when we went through it.
For
No.
example, in Planning York zoning district, section C, permitted uses, references any use permitted in the wetlands and watercourse district.
Yeah, so it's referenced,
It's referenced, it
but
didn't
it's
get called
cleared
out.
out.
Can we find what it said?
Yeah, I think it's a section in the original, in the current one.
Can you find it, Ashley?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think you guys discussed removing it because there was multiple different water and watershed areas, and you wanted to reference the specific one. I can pull it up in the minutes and send that with you in the other minutes that I pull up.
Well, I know it's on the zoning map.
Yeah,
John?
an entire southern part is
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of floodplain language in the original one that we stripped out just because that's basically dictated by the floodplain ordinance now. I don't know if that was mistaken that we pull that as well. I mean, I don't mind pulling it. The problem is we have parcels that are currently zoned that. What does that do to those?
Yeah.
Probably nothing, because they're still wetlands and they're still undeveloped.
Yeah,
So, if God put it there, gotta leave it.
I mean, it's a really short section in this Title 4. I think it's one page.
It changes everything.
So when we find it, it can be inserted?
It shifts everything. It's a project for someone.
Should it be inserted?
Well, back to, my caveat to you all, that legislating the exception
No, I understand
Isn't
that.
always the wisest thing to do.
Yeah, we got rid of, there was a floodplain district zoning district and a floodway district zoning district.
Yeah.
And floodway fringe districts, those were all eliminated.
And that's okay. Is that okay, or?
That's okay, because that's dictated, if you read that section, it's dictated by, federal guidelines now effectively.
Clean
That's
Water
okay,
Act.
Yeah.
Well, would the wastewater be federal guidelines?
Wetland and water
What-
course zoning is what we call it. I mean, I guess
Would that
the
be all
problem,
federal?
I guess, the problem is that we actually have parcels that are zoned in this, in this district right now.
It's on your map.
The other ones did not.
Yeah.
So you could just strip
okay.
that out and get rid of it, didn't matter. I mean, this is similar dictations, provisions shall apply to all lands adjacent to streams or creeks which are at or below 100-year elevation. But can you take it out if you have stuff, can you rezone those parcels like ag?
Yeah.
Do you have to go through, well, you have to go public
You have to go
hearings
through
for
the
this
process.
anyways.
You have to go through the process.
I mean, I would be fine taking it out, we just have to change that.
We are right
Parcel.
now in a continued public hearing. It could still be done. We're gonna open, when we're ready, we're gonna open a public hearing again to finalize the deliberations and to adopt, or to recommend to the town council an ordinance that hopefully they'll adopt.
Can you rezone a parcel to a different zoning district without
Yes.
notifying,
Well,
explicitly notifying the owner?
explicitly. Who owns it?
Like Heritage Parks?
Yeah, let's see, we just made a deal with them.
I mean, I don't think they'd have an issue with the
I don't
rezone.
think so either, and we've agreed not to charge and bill them for stormwater fees, and they've
10
agreed
years.
to let us reverse their property in exchange for such. I can't believe they'd be looking for a fight.
I mean, yeah.
Just saying.
Was that what we wanna do, or not?
To do it right, with all the detail covered, yeah, probably should do it. If, we just wanna get through the next 4 years, be fair to them in our consideration. At the end of 4 years, terminate the license agreement and thank them. They're not gonna develop it, it's natural. It's all natural. There might be some duck hunters out there a couple times a year.
I mean, I'm fine getting rid of wetlands and waters, but we just have to change the map and probably eliminate all references to it.
And if you do that, it'll change the zoning district classification on the zoning map of the town, which follows proper protocols. By the way, the notice of public hearing for this was to everyone within the municipal corporate boundaries. Everyone affected was within the municipal corporate boundaries. So legally, they all got notice, everybody who lives here got notice within the boundaries by that ad and notice in the newspaper.
Change it to ag. Whenever we have wetlands and water courses, we can change it.
Did you do the map?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, get a head nod here, so let's see what to do. We're either 7 days from being done with this, or we are 3 months.
I'd like 7 days.
I'll change it tomorrow.
I like 7 days.
Yeah, we're,
We'll
7 days. Want to have this done tomorrow?
So we're gonna delete
Try.
wetlands and water course?
So we just need to do a search of the document to eliminate references to it.
Well, is the January 6th draft, which is the only document I'm gonna work off of, is that in Word version? Okay. We've cleaned up, I'm 99% ready to go with your final proof. Anticipating most of the stuff we're talking about, that Jerry led you through, would be done.
Okay.
Will you send me over what
Do
you're?
we need a vote?
Yep. I need to double check that those are the only ones, but I think they're the only ones.
Okay, everyone has their homework? Okay. The fee in lieu of sidewalk. We had, there was a document thought I had seen regarding what other communities are doing. Regarding this is fee in lieu of. So I guess, does anybody have any thoughts or questions on this?
Seems to me that there aren't that many per se,
I agree.
and it also seems to me that it's a big pain.
Yes.
So I would say, forget it and leave it like it is. If they want a waiver to sidewalks, they can go before the appropriate.
They can ask.
Commission.
They can ask. Okay.
All right.
All right. So fee in lieu of sidewalk, anybody have any objections to removing this from the update items?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well, I guess, hey, Jerry, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so I guess what started all of this was the Hanover Central Junior High project.
Yes, sir.
And they didn't want their sidewalks, so then because they had land over here that they owned, we said, let's use that money for over here. Well, I think this thing's got legs for two reasons. One, we have many people building in areas that make no logical sense to make them have a sidewalk. And two, if we're able to collect 80% of what that sidewalk cost is legally and put it into this fund and then interconnect town centers such as Robin's Nest, Lakeside with 133rd by the new condos, if you will, and some of these other subdivisions that are not connected, I think we're doing the citizens a great job. If it's legal to take 80% of what the value of the sidewalk is, and if a person is willing to sign a document to do so, when our building department deems it illogical place for a sidewalk, we could then create a priority map with priorities 1, 2, and 3, kind of like what we do for roads that are in really bad condition. And then 5 years from now, we could have some interconnectivity from different parts of the community into town centers like Stratton, Van Til, and or the east side, area. So I think it's got legs. We just need to say it, do it, and we can change it and tweak it as we go on. And that's all I got.
I would say if there's a mechanism for it, I think it is a good thing to do from a planning perspective, to not have isolated sidewalks in the middle of nowhere connecting to nothing. There are corridors in this town that we do need to close gaps that are pretty identifiable. Now, I say there has to be a mechanism because it has to be legal and not to consider it a tape. I don't know if this can be tabled until subdivision control ordinance starts being looked at and revised and somehow be inserted into that, if possible.
I thought we had something from Lowell.
Lowell has one.
So I was on the council and planning commission in Lowell when we did that, and as John, I believe that was John speaking, as he mentioned, we had set the ordinance up so it was 80%. We only exercised that right sparingly when subdivisions were coming in and the subdivision control ordinance called for sidewalks where sidewalks would not necessarily be desired. So like the Steinman Peak proposal along Parish, you may instead want a bermed landscaped area instead of sidewalks. That would be an identified area that I would say could be a potential use of this waiver. And then as part of that ordinance, we created a non-reverting fund where we put that money and then we identified, as John said, priority areas throughout the community that made more sense for it to be walkable, generally in our more downtown areas where standards weren't as rigid as they are now, or as up-to-date as they are now. We also
I guess you already have the mechanism. You have the all the documents to do this.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's against doing it. I think it's been,
don't
we
reinvent the
need
wheel.
the details, yeah. We need some of the details. Can you, provide that whole, and if we, look this over, can we include it in this document, it's 100 and some pages we just went through? That's where it'd be in subdivision ordinance. Control ordinance?
I mean,
Yeah, it belongs in
Yeah.
subdivision.
Okay, all right,
it's either separate, it's either separate ordinance or goes in the subdivision, yeah.
yeah. Probably should put it in the subdivision. So, are there any,
If you did a separate ordinance, there would be an amendment to the subdivision control ordinance.
okay,
No matter what.
okay. Is there anything about this that has, any boomerangs? Or it's all pretty well?
I guess the only boomerang would be is once you, because it also comes with, you're basically wiping them of any responsibility for sidewalks in the future. So that would be the only boomerang, is once you take that 80% money in lieu of sidewalks, they get to walk away.
Never.
Never. It's on the town.
Okay,
So just be very cognizant of that fact.
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's probably the only thing, you certainly have to, yes, Mr. Becker?
Didn't we mostly consider this as because of legacy lots?
We did, yes.
One lot subdivisions and.
Yeah, one lot
Right.
subdivisions and elevations,
Like the older ones,
Things,
not
yeah,
the newer
yeah.
subdivisions. Newer subdivisions,
yeah.
that's that stuff.
Yeah, well, and it would be to our advantage, more so with these legacy lots. Because when they say, I don't want a sidewalk, say, well, okay, but here's your option. So,
We also did it with curbs too. Again, some areas where it makes sense, where there's maybe not storm drains or curbs in place. Same mechanism, 80%, and we used it very sparingly.
I think we have to be super careful of that.
Yeah.
Did the town get to decide that, or the developer say, well, I don't want to put sidewalks in, I just want to pay the 80%?
Developer can ask for it. It's on the, we had set it up so it was the planning commission that would give it out.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm worried about.
and we really have
Don't want to
to,
maintain that control.
yeah, and certainly have to, think way in the future. Way in the future.
Now, like for, in the future, instead of sidewalks, what about walking paths? Like, you can't get a sidewalk
Well-
to Robin's Nest, you know how
Well,
it goes
I
down
mean,
there, could
you
you
know-
use a walking path?
Could the non-reverting funds, have that language of
I think it's.
public, not, what do you call it, not public ways, but, footpaths and things like that?
Yeah, I think the draft that is written now has anything from like pedestrian trails to sidewalks to, anything, call it mobility, whatever.
I guess then, the only other piece of that would be, silver leaf.
Meadows.
Huh?
Silver meadows.
Silver meadows. When you're talking about all those hundreds of feet of sidewalk along Parish, that those funds would go into the monies would go into a non-reverting fund. Who decides then where we continue sidewalks and where we don't?
Town council.
Well, I would be against them on Parish, because to me,
No,
that's a public safety problem. I know fixing that as an analogy, but that was a bad analogy. That's a place where we need sidewalks.
Planning Commission has exclusive jurisdiction over plats in the state of Indiana. Wouldn't be the council, in my opinion.
Was the meaning of the funds?
No,
Yeah, fund
I
allocation.
wanna know when this, with the monies in this non-reverting fund, who decides where we're gonna extend a sidewalk, or where we're gonna extend a footpath or trail,
That could be the council.
or whatever?
Yeah.
The council
That's
would
what I
decide. The council would decide. Okay. I think also, doing it in some bigger chunks would certainly, be, helpful to the public. Instead of doing 50 feet here and 100 feet there and that kind of thing.
We've got a map of every sidewalk in town, so we know where our gaps
Because there
are.
aren't that many.
More you think?
No, but, John Foreman, you said you would be against sidewalks along Parish.
No, I would be against not having them there.
Oh, not
I mean,
having them,
that's-
I see,
Along,
I see.
yeah, no, I think Chris just used that as an analogy. I don't
Yeah.
think he, you know, meant that literally.
Well, I was
But I'm
just,
saying, like, that would be an area that would make no sense to allow them to say, in lieu of sidewalk, pay 80%, because that's a public safety for kids walking and getting to that area, especially if we're gonna try to do some ball fields with the remainder someday, right? So, but, I think he was just using it as an analogy, and I just said, in that area, I would never want to give it to a new developer to say, no, I don't want sidewalks.
yeah,
Now, if a guy buys 100 acres, and he's gonna make 2-acre lots or 3-acre lots, and he's making a cool neighborhood with little pole barns or something like off of Calumet Avenue and 117th, yeah, then maybe that person qualifies to not have to put sidewalks in because it's a secluded area off of a farm road that happens to be annexed in the town. I.e. a Salesians, i.e. a monastery, right? I mean, there's areas left that could be cool with big, huge yards where a person could put a nice, separate building with a nice home, estate-type houses.
yeah,
So
I
in
think,
that type of scenario, 80% would add up fast, right?
yeah,
When you
I
have a
think,
big lot, because the sidewalk costs are heavy.
but based on some of those examples you gave, about half of those, I'm thinking to myself, how far in the future would there be regret of not having them?
Well, even down 41, Jared, if we went down 41 and somebody decides to do like, years ago, Brenda Roberts wanted to do a horse farm on the land that she sold to the county. Let's say somebody wanted to do a horse farm off of 41 with estate homes, and they have a centralized place for put the horses. You know, I'm just thinking out loud, right? So
Yeah.
there could be areas in the future that are huge lots that in lieu of 80% add up and help us and interconnect the smaller communities or smaller neighborhoods.
Well, if Chris would get us that, and we can email it to us, Ashley, please, or Chris, and we can look over it, because,
Yeah, and I think we don't let this hold us up in the 7-day ordinance. I mean, if we don't get it done and we have to do an addendum later, we do that, you know? So I don't think this is a showstopper for our ordinance, is it, David?
No,
no,
not at all.
I agree. Well, if it's already done, John, all we have to do is agree, look it over and agree, and it's case closed.
Yeah. And that would be my 2 cents.
You
Okay.
know, on that Silver Meadows, on their concept plan, they don't show any sidewalks along,
I didn't see any.
No, they don't.
along Parish or
No, they don't.
155th.
They have a landscaping berm,
They
30
got a
feet.
berm
Yeah.
with trees.
30 feet, that's it.
And their 30-foot berm could be, may not be 30 feet once you have to start figuring out the ditch and the sidewalk. The berm-
Well, they've got berms on Beacon Point, but yet they have sidewalks, so.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at what you guys are
I'm
looking
just
at.
talking,
I didn't see them.
I'm just talking about the berm's 30 feet lateral, and that may not work out.
Yeah.
So-
Point of Silver Meadows being that they're not aware of it. So before it gets too far down the road, they should be notified that they've got pencil in some sidewalks.
Hence, we want some more detail.
See, Senor?
More
No, when
details.
you ask for more detail, I don't think there's anybody here who thinks you're asking for too much.
Well, yeah,
I told you before.
there's requirements of concept plan and a development plan, there's two different,
Yeah.
they're two different things.
Yeah, I mean, asking for extra, but I think anybody in here will back you up 1,000%.
You know, I think we also should put in there, you know, it's not necessarily, if a person lives in a street and he wants to put an addition on, are we making them do the in lieu of sidewalk, or is it only for new homes? We should put that language in there, so it's not, you know, so it's not,
We're gonna-
so easily interpreted.
John, we're gonna ask the resident expert to answer that question right now.
I
I'll
agree.
say that.
How is,
I believe Don was gonna speak to that.
Plating.
Plating, yeah, if you're doing an addition to your house, it doesn't trigger
No.
that,
it's just for planning?
yeah.
Okay, it's just for planning,
Yeah.
John.
It's gotta be something that triggers.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kinda like the guy on Morris Street, he came in for a garage permit, and he already had a house, and we accidentally went down that road, and then we all realized, hey, wait a minute, he's just putting a garage up. So that was, you know, he didn't need to qualify for that.
Yeah,
sidewalk program.
yeah, there was also an elevation challenge there.
Yeah,
Is that guy's
absolutely.
name Kirk?
Down-
Kirk something? Down here, yeah.
4,700 horse.
Okay, does anyone have anything else? Chris? Words of wisdom? No? Ashley?
No, sir.
Good? Chuck? Mr. Carnahan, you there?
Who's missing? Never asked me if I got.
Best for last. Words for last. Okay. Dave?
Hey, I'd just like to welcome Chris to the first, plan commission meeting in Cedar Lake.
Well, I told him before we got started that, you did the honorary, dinner at the lighthouse, so he's gonna pick a date for that.
Bob, you're muted.
Yeah, but Monday night is closed, Chris, so you're out of luck, baby.
Oh, we'll find something open.
Yeah.
I'll go
Thank you,
over.
John.
So, okay, Rick,
No, sir.
Don, Dave, good? John Foreman, last call.
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
I'm good.
all right. Okay, lights out.